got them chicken down here.
That pocket is way bigger than you thought.
Yeah, it was.
That's like a 20-piece, bro.
It was a 20-piece.
Okay.
What's going on, guys? Road Team Reviews back on the road this beautiful Saturday, and we're going to no other than Columbia, South Carolina for my hometown team, University of South Carolina, mighty Gamecocks, or the Gamecocks.
A lot of you may be thinking like, wait, what are y'all doing in the review studio right now? You know, this is where you end videos, not start them, but we just live like maybe 20, 25 minutes away from the stadium. We decided to go ahead and knock this intro out right here. Just let you know our score predictions and just kind of our background.
If you know me, I was a former student at University of South Carolina. I could tell y'all hours and hours worth of stuff about the stadium, but for now we'll keep it short.
Have a lot of remarks from him.
For sure. Review. So there's going to be some interesting takes from both sides because, as you know, Nathan's a Clemson Tiger fan. So
we've had our share of rivalry hate over the years.
Oh yeah.
But you know, I think as we kind of get older, we realize it's just a game.
Yeah.
You know? We can at least save the hate for game day rather than the whole season. So I'm going into this game behind enemy lines. Yeah, I think it's still going to be a good game. Both teams are 4-4, East Division rivals.
For sure, it's a critical game every year.
I'm curious to see what little brother has in store for.
Well, I thought I'd never say it, but the little brother is actually not doing as much better than the big brother. So
both brothers are going through a tough time, and they need some guidance. We'll do some quick score predictions, and then we'll get to the game. I think it's just going to come down to the Gamecocks running game. I think they're going to win. I'm going to guess 23-17 in favor of Carolina.
This is not really the most anticipated game of the year, considering our fan base isn't quite a big fan of what's going on with this program right now. So as far as atmosphere, they're always going to turn up. I'm expecting some good energy still, because no matter what, there's always good energy at the stadium. Jason Brown, if you haven't heard of him, this is his opportunity right now. And this is me saying this for the first time, but Jason Brown is that dude. So I hope this ages well. Has a good receiver that he's teammates with, EJ Jenkins. Shout out to you. Hopefully we see a connection today. Our offense has not been looking good at all. Hopefully we can get Mr. Jason Brown and EJ Jenkins to help them out a little bit. As a realistic Gamecock fan, I haven't felt confident playing Florida the past couple years, so I think the final score for this game is going to be low scoring. I think Florida's going to make it a little bit close, so I'm going to say final score 21-13 Florida. And I'm sorry, but I hope you prove me wrong today. Regardless, it's a night game. It's going to be a good Saturday. Before we leave, I just want to give a quick shout out to Nathan and his sister for making these long sleeve shirts, and they also got some hoodies as well. Yeah.
We got the sleeve design right there, and we got the hoodies too. Hoodies and sweatshirts have them on the back. But you know, I mean, if you like them, think that this is something that someone could purchase, comment down below. Let us know if you think it's worthy. If you do want one, find us on Instagram. Our Instagrams are in the description. You can hit us up with a DM. We got stickers too, a couple other pieces, but we'd be happy to send y'all some.
For sure. I can't wait to wear this shirt at the game.
And I can't wait to be at the game.
All right, Williams-Brice Stadium. We'll see you soon. Pain. Lots of pain, actually.
Definitely the coolest thing that they just added to the stadium. This Gamecock, this life-size Gamecock. Larger than life, to say the least, but they spent like $1 million on this thing. I read something on SEC Network on Twitter saying that South Carolina's kind of got like it's got an Alabama fan base with a Vanderbilt trophy case. But you know what? This is like the closest thing to a trophy we got here. So $1 million later, it was good. Hey, that's George Rogers.
Yeah.
Actually used to have like a huge banner over here. Had like a player on top of that. They added this welcome home banner that didn't even match the colors of the garnet, like color scheme that we had.
I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, we had a lot of heat from that, but I think over time it faded away. Not as big as Indiana State, but we ain't mad about that.
Cool. I think we're gonna go in now.
All right, Nate, what you got there?
Got a new bathroom towel.
You gotta start Sandstorm the right way.
It's like a concrete maze, multi-level maze through here. We'll know where we're going. The signs were so small.
We found them over here though, so I guess that towel is good for something.
Yeah, look at that real grass.
Yes.
I want to be honest. Coming in, I did not expect any kind of scenic value.
I kept the receipts. When you're sitting down here a little bit, you don't really get to see much. All you see is just a little bit of the sky. You know, not much, but when you get up top a little bit right here, especially up in the nosebleeds, you get to see this nice view of the city.
So yeah, we were just talking about why that little section, why is it empty? Looks like a perfectly good place to put some corner seats. You got it over there, over here, and over here with us. But right there's the only one.
At least from what I've heard from fans, you want to keep that small part of the student section and kind of just want to enjoy the view while you're at this. I think one of my favorite parts of the stadium is definitely the lights right here. And it's not a new lighting system. It's been around for quite a while, but I think, you know, as Nate said, whoever designed this was probably ahead of their time, and it's kind of like a cinematic like line of lights right there. It's kind of like a little spider leg kind of design right there. It's kind of like the Road Team Reviews logo in a way. Hey, don't leave him hanging. Hey.
Run the ball. 33-10. Let's seal the deal, boys. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Woo! Let's go. Hey, hey, hey. Woo!
I think we got the firework duty guys up there.
Standing right there.
I've never heard of that player. We were definitely on the right side this game.
Oh, yeah.
But
For sure.
Every game we're always on the weaker side.
Look who did jump rope.
Hello there, and welcome back. You smell that?
I smell something. I don't know what it is though.
It smells like victory. Good day to be a Gamecock.
Those Carolina victories smell a little different.
If it weren't for this guy right here, I wasn't going to be able to go to this game.
Just your typical unconfident South Carolina fan who's just lost faith in the pro.
To be fair, we were 20.5-point underdogs. So I don't think anybody expected Carolina to win in this fashion. And you know what? I'm glad my prediction was wrong. Yeah, just real quick, guys. Nathan, would you like to show them a little something?
So in the intro, we obviously had Triston's long sleeve shirt, and we mentioned some other designs. This is the hoodie. Still got the same RTR chest logo, but
yeah.
Then on the back, that right there. So yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
Let us know in the comments what you like, which design, if you like chest, shoulder, across the shoulder, or if you like that sleeve design. Could really help us out for just future marketing purposes and branding, you know. And who knows, maybe we'll have some giveaways for significant subscriber benchmarks, so always be on the lookout for that. Yeah, and we got this new setup. I don't know, I like it, you know. It's a little more up close. I like this height better too.
Yeah, this is nice.
We're still going to be figuring some things out and playing along, but going forward, this will be the new setup. But enough of that. Say we get into this review.
Let's get it.
For Willy B. All right, so I want to get it started with really talking about stadium structure here. This is an important one. I don't know, we may have mentioned it in the intro, but this stadium is actually where I drew inspiration for this logo right here.
Oh yeah.
So, like you can see this like kind of upside down, the spider leg design, which some people, I don't know, that's how they refer to the stadium lights at Williams-Brice. And I don't know, being a Clemson fan, I always thought that they did have a cool lighting structure and just like the upper deck. Just thought it looked cool. It's very unique. It's very modern. And I don't know. It might be hard to tell. I think you can kind of.
It's got this little arching
Yeah,
right there.
so it didn't disappoint. It's definitely the biggest, most put together stadium we've been to. Not just from the inside, but the outside. It looks very just sound, kind of has that big look to it, like an SEC stadium should. It wasn't like Virginia Tech or some others that had just big kind of stands all separate, just like propped down. It was connected for the most part. There's that one corner we talked about that's for some reason open, but we think that it could be, so you can keep that downtown Columbia view in there. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Let's hear a Carolina fan's
of course.
thoughts on it.
You know, pretty much growing up with this stadium, I've literally watched games since I was like 8 years old. I've watched many concerts around here. I've even took graduation photos, and me as a former student, I've definitely celebrated and spent my times in the cockpit. One thing I could tell you is that the stadium just has some special structure to it. It's definitely a huge concrete base to it. One specific fact about the early 80s, former head coach Joe Morris had the famous saying that if it ain't swaying, we ain't playing. And according...
Dive into this for me.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're going with this.
Oh, let me tell you, the upper deck section would start swaying. They said it would sway up to almost a whole foot.
That is not safe.
This was in the early 80s, though, before they started doing renovations, but it just comes to show, like, the stadium is pretty... It holds a lot of people. Ever since then, they started adding a lot of renovations. Like, they added stuff to the bottom of the stadium as well to add more structure to it. But this stadium is pretty old. It's been around since 1930, I think 1934 specifically. It's a very old stadium with a lot of new renovations, so it's kind of got that old classic football feel to it, but it's got like a lot of modern renovations to it. From the banner outside that says "Welcome Home" to like all the paint that's been added to the stadium. And, you know, one thing that I must say we have different opinions on is the scoreboard. The scoreboard is definitely one of the biggest additions to the stadium. A humongous jumbotron by like Daktronics or whatever. And they added a bunch of subwoofers and everything. And I think it's top of the line, one of the best scoreboards in the nation. It just looks so aesthetically pleasing. Even not from the inside of the stadium, but also from outside of the stadium. You walk down this walkway with palm trees and you see this big old South Carolina logo just hanging there with the team store underneath. Definitely not like a whole building, but it's definitely like a large structure that just shows, hey, this is South Carolina.
The outside, definitely looks nice, especially at night when the text is lit up and everything. It looks really, really nice. But on the inside, under the Jumbotron, which is nice as well.
Yeah.
But it takes up so much room for the actual scoreboard itself. And this goes back to like the Georgia State video where
history repeats itself.
They had a humongous scoreboard that was really nice, but no score was on it. And they utilized an old banner scoreboard.
And I agree. If you have a Jumbotron, specifically a Jumbotron, at least have the score on it.
I don't know, like Virginia Tech utilized it good because they had a big screen and they had their separate scoreboard and statistics on the side.
Yeah.
And then the rest, they showed replays on the board and everything. But I don't know. And there's no other place to put it. So on the opposing end zone, they have another banner scoreboard. I mean, that's just one drawback, I feel like. But just my thoughts.
I guess another drawback you did say was that the stadium is like a double-decker and then some places a triple-decker stadium. So
yes, that's also something unique. The only place where it's a triple-decker is just the one end zone. I think it's kind of unique that every side's a little different.
Another cool small thing about the stadium, definitely added a lot of new clubs to it. No matter what part of the stadium that you sit in, there's always some type of club seating. And we saw from across, and they had like whole TV screens in front of them, just like where they could watch other games or watch replays and stuff like that.
Or maybe do their classwork. Need to catch up on some schools, write that paper, but you want to go to the game, you know? This stadium definitely, I don't know if I'd call it iconic, but it's definitely unique to where, I don't know, if you're a fan of college football and you're familiar with the stadium, I feel you could definitely like spot this stadium out.
I think it's a unique looking stadium, to say the least. Especially with the lights you said. I remember you saying it looks like one other stadium.
Well, like one other has
that
similar,
kind of
even similar lighting like that. We'll get to that school.
Yeah.
in a couple of weeks.
Williams-Brice Stadium, you could definitely, like, if you were to look at it for the first time, you'd be like, yeah, that's definitely Williams-Brice Stadium.
It's a combination, I think, of the corner, like, ramp staircases, and I don't know, they just look very different. They utilize banner graphics on them very well, so they're not just like plain cement looking structures.
Yeah.
So with those staircases or ramps that get you up to the upper deck, like that is a really unique look. Yeah, not many other college stadiums have them. The last thing, or really the only thing that we have to go over, is the press box. I don't know if it has a name. I don't think it did. It just kind of said South Carolina. Still like a very nice looking press box though. It didn't just look like a cement structure, or it didn't look like it was just cheap metal. Like it looked like a very nice modern press box. And overall, it's a pretty nice stadium. It feels pretty big for the most part when you're in it, and I think it's the appropriate size for an SEC team. So with that being said, definitely the best stadium structurally that we visited so far. I gave it a 94. Which is a solid A.
Maybe because I'm sentimental and I just really love the structure of the stadium. My final score is going to be a 95. Probably my favorite grade to discuss is definitely going to be the atmosphere. In my opinion, with me growing up in this school, this atmosphere is one of a kind. I think from the beginning of this game, like you said, it kind of started off a little bit slow. It wasn't the highest energy starting off, but it was something about when the team finally started getting together and starting making big plays after big plays. The crowd and the atmosphere kind of just like turned it up.
And this is the first game we went to where crowd intensity and atmosphere progressed throughout the game, which was really fun to see because these games have been blowouts that we've gone to, or some of them have.
This game was like the perfect opportunity to test whether this atmosphere was like up to its potential. I think it proved itself pretty well in this game.
Yeah, like they have great pregame and intros, routines that they do, which is really hype. And then they have a couple of good chants, you know. One that I freaking hate though, I think nationally, it is
Go ahead.
The Gamecock Rooster, whatever
it's the Rooster Crow, man. Here comes the Rooster.
No, that is annoying.
But yeah, just overall the fan base, man. The best way I can explain it is that like we are a very top tier tailgating school.
This is the first true South Carolina game I've gone to.
Yeah.
Went to one when I was a child, completely different. But I have been to a couple South Carolina tailgates, and they don't skimp out on that. They go all out for tailgating. Even though we didn't see it that night, we know how they throw it.
For sure. The stadium packs like 80,000 people. We were very surprised to see that.
This guy was.
I was very surprised because, like I said, we were 20-point underdogs, and 70,000 out of those 80,000 people showed up. It was just an atmosphere that we definitely needed. If we didn't have that crowd, who knows what would happen with this game. It was kind of like we were witnessing a new era of Gamecock football happening that game.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. The fans that we interacted with, we had some good interactions, we had some awkward interactions, but you know, all around, everyone was there to have a good time, regardless of how inebriated.
Yeah.
Let's get into these grades.
So yeah, I gave it a 91, which is an A-.
Okay.
I think, it wasn't a full house. It was 87%, so I guess there could be a little more, but I was confident that it would still be a decent turnout. I did not think that the spread should have been 20. Yeah, that, you also had the first home game for these college students for 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh yeah.
They're going to want to get out there for just the opportunity to party and just have some fun at a football game. They stayed pretty much the whole game. That was definitely the strongest section. I don't know, without being too biased to Clemson, I think a 91's pretty deserving, pretty commendable for Willy B.
I respect that. You know, considering the circumstances and everything that the teams went through this year, I've seen the stadium firsthand, how insanely loud this place can be. I've seen this fan base in this stadium at its full capacity, specifically 2013 versus Georgia, which was the loudest it's ever been with 85,000 people. The best way I could describe this fan base is that it is a starving fan base that is just begging for this football team to win. This year, this was the highest amount of season tickets ever sold this year with a new head coach. This fan base has passion, and it showed on Saturday. Maybe it's because I've been at the school so long, but I know exactly how much the school can live up to, and I think it lived up pretty well. I think this is one of the most underrated underrated fan bases in college football. And because of that, I'm going to give this a 96.
You may have heard this term brought up on this channel before. Unfortunately, Williams-Brice Stadium is one of these.
They call it how it is.
It is kind of a parking lot stadium. Yeah, a lot of that's for tailgating, but around it, up close, or the immediate surroundings of this stadium, there's not too much scenic value with it. It very much is mostly tailgating lots. It's like they just put every lot where you could park, and they're just dedicated so much to tailgating. It's just everywhere's a tailgating lot. So it is just the worst stadium for just normal parking. This is our 8th game, by far the worst, trying to find parking.
Trust me.
And the worst for us to get in and out of.
Listen, there's been times I didn't even go to the stadium. I watched games outside of the stadium in the parking lot. So
that's
it's a
pretty
parking
common
lot
thing
party.
to do. Yeah, parking lot party, parking lot stadium. But for it being a parking lot stadium, it does have, and you can get a decent view of downtown Columbia. So for it being a parking lot stadium, it does have a bit of that scenic quality to it, which I'll appreciate and give it a decent grade for that.
Like I was explaining to Nate earlier, I think when you're in the lower part of the stadium, you don't really see much. You probably just see a little bit of the Carolina sky. As you slowly start to climb up the stadium a little bit more, you start to see the beautiful city of Columbia, South Carolina. Especially in October, if you watch a game in October, you get to see the state fair in action, and you get to see all the beautiful lights and everything. Especially when there's a sunset in South Carolina and you get to see the views of the city. I think there's something special about that. But if I'm going to compare this with other schools like Virginia Tech with the mountains, and if I'm going to compare this with
even Charleston,
I got to be realistic. And because of that, my final score for that is going to be an 86.
So we got a B- and then a normal B. Certainly better, certainly worse stadiums, but hey, it had something. And I did like throughout, which kind of contributed to my scores, the palm trees around. I think they do a great job of capturing the state of South Carolina, that very iconic palmetto tree.
We are the Palmetto State.
So that's scenic value. So Triston, you're the South Carolina fan.
Yeah.
You just go ahead and teach us all about Gamecock tradition.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I don't know anything.
Yeah, I'm not an expert or anything by any means, but, from my experiences of Williams-Brice Stadium and being a student here, it's got quite a bit of tradition here. From 2001, A Space Odyssey, it's just a nice little dramatic entrance, and some may even call it one of the best entrances in college football. I think it's one of the better entrances in college football.
Top 20.
Yeah. Something about after that, and then kickoff happens, and they start playing Sandstorm. You either love it or you hate it. Todd Gurley said that's the most annoying song he's ever heard in his life, and he hated that. It's just something about that energy that really just rejuvenates your spirit a little bit. The one thing I can say is that Sandstorm is kind of a new tradition. The Sandstorm started in 2009 specifically when they upset Ole Miss with Jevin Sneed and Dexter McCluster. But I think it's been a very ongoing tradition since 2009. Now, if we want to go to the history of this stadium, this stadium, like I said, has been around since the early 1930s. I think it was originally called Carolina Stadium and South Carolina Municipal Stadium, and then finally worked its way up to Williams-Brice. Shout out to Williams-Brice for the donation. Some pretty cool, interesting facts about this stadium. I think in the early 1990s, there was actually a movie filmed at Williams-Brice Stadium. It's called The Program, and Halle Berry and John Conn or something like that.
I have to look that one up.
Yeah.
Watch it.
Also, if you're very familiar with this movie, I don't know, something called The Waterboy. Apparently there's a flyover scene right over Williams-Brice Stadium, and then there's a newspaper article towards the end of the movie where the Mud Dogs beat the Clemson Tigers 6-3. So
which it's kind of messed up that they put. If that is true, then they put Clemson in South Carolina Stadium.
Yeah. The Pope, for God's sakes, visited Williams-Brice Stadium and spoke with and Billy Graham. That Barack Obama also came in 2007 and spoke to 20,000 something people or something like that. So yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Definitely things I thought were cool. One being, I think it's really neat how much they honor their like relevant kind of star players with Kenny McKinley, Marcus Lattimore, South Carolina Heisman winner, his name's George Rogers.
Yep.
So they have that tradition of prominent players, good NFL talent.
The unfortunate thing is we don't have a lot of championship winners.
And this is So, I'm fine with putting up a conference title that you're not in anymore. That was all the way back in 1969.
Nice.
Like, that's fine. Do what you want. But honoring a division championship, it just seems kind of like you're just grabbing low-hanging fruit right there. Like, come on. It's a division title.
Oh, man.
That's not a conference championship. And yeah, it's the SEC, it's hard, but like, I don't know, it just looks kind of sad. But again...
Well, when it rains, it pours.
Traditions I enjoyed. 2001 going, that was really neat. I like that a little more than Sandstorm, just like revolutionary. It's so out of place almost for like a football game. Like the score to a sci-fi, one of the most popular sci-fi movies of all time,
and then you go to a meme of a song.
It's unique, but I appreciate it. I think it's really cool too how they don't just play the normal Sandstorm.
They play the original one and then they play the remix version.
Okay, because I think it's cool with the remix how they'll get the fans to like wave it quick, put it down, and then wave it. Like that looks really cool watching those white towels kind of flicker. Which that takes some like coordination to do. Props to the fans for being able to do that in rhythm. Yeah,
and actually a USC student made the Sandstorm remix. So
I don't know too much about overall history. That's all I got. We were both in the same boat here, and I gave it an 89.
I'm gonna have to agree with him on this just because there's a lot of newer traditions mixed with old history, so I can't really compare that to like a really top tier school that has amazing tradition. Because of that, I think an 89 is fair.
Okay, so field design, again, another big school, another grass field. I think we can officially say that there's a direct correlation with these big Power 5 teams. Seem to all have grass. It's good for them. That definitely helped Williams-Brice Stadium in this mark, but it wasn't the only factor. Like, it's a good layout to the field. Again, they have some little artwork on there, the palmetto tree and moon, basically the South Carolina state flag. Us being South Carolinians, I think all South Carolinians are very proud of that. They are the State University of South Carolina, so it is cool that they plant that on the field.
I've walked through this grass at the University of South Carolina at Williams-Brice Stadium, and I could say it feels nice. I mentioned earlier about former head coach Joe Morrison. Shout out to you, Mr. Joe Morrison, rest in peace. This man really brought a good culture towards this program. Not only did he come up with the term, if it ain't swaying, we ain't playing. Not only did he come up with the black uniform tradition, but he also brought back real grass. We would keep going back and forth with real grass and AstroTurf. Joe Morrison just said, nah, we're playing on real grass. And that's how it's going to stay.
South Carolina really had turf at one point?
Yeah, they had AstroTurf for
like that concrete, like hard looking.
It was like in the 80s, Yeah, it was ugly.
I did not know that.
Because of Joe Morrison, we kept it grass for a long time. And I like the sideline designs. Some football fields kind of just have like a blank outline on the fields, but South Carolina does a pretty good job with the garnet shades on the sides and the shrubs, of course. It may or may not be copying Georgia, but it looks good. This was almost a perfect score, but the only thing that held it back from a perfect score was that the end zones just weren't colored in, and it just kind of had that modern Carolina font colored in. What would make this a perfect 100 is if maybe they colored in the end zone with that black magic end zone that we used to have, and I'll show you a picture soon. As far as that, I can't really say too much bad things about the field. So, Nate, what's your final grade?
It's pretty solid. I really tried to grade it pretty similar to Virginia Tech. I think they have some similar qualities, but again, like one thing that South Carolina had better was, as you mentioned, the garnet trim and then those shrubs. So I gave it a couple point higher grade than Virginia Tech. I gave it a 93, which is an A-.
And I believe I gave Virginia Tech a 93. Because of that, it's not going to be a perfect score, and I am going to give you a final grade of a 95.
So we have now added both of our grades up, and getting into it, start off with mine first. Williams-Brice Stadium got an 89.6, which is a B+ from me.
With everything added up, my final score for Williams-Brice Stadium is going to be a 92.6.
Respect to you, graded it very fair, very unbiased for the most part, I would say. So when we review Clemson, I will grade it the same.
And likewise.
And averaging those two grades up, ended up being a 91.1. And then yes, it gets 1+ point.
We're not even going to explain it to you.
You already know why. Just put like a little beer thing on the screen.
Yeah.
So yeah, you already know why it gets 1 extra point. If you're new to the channel, you can.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, go back, watch the other ones. And that'll bring the final score for Williams-Brice Stadium, University of South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina, a 92.1, an A-. Congrats, Cox. You have just unseated. How would I say that? Unseated. Yeah? You just unseated. Yeah. Congrats to you, Cock.
Congratulations, you Cock. Oh my god.
So yeah, congrats to you, Gamecock fans. You unseated Virginia Tech and are now the highest rated stadium here for Road Team Reviews at a 92.1.
Yes, sir. Go Cox, baby.
You know, I mean, if I had to guess, probably is going to hold that title the rest of the season. But we still got some really neat, unique places that we're visiting. The season is coming to a close. We have a few regular season games left, but we're excited. They're unique. One of them, if things go our way, can be a pretty important game. We're excited too for some new series that'll be coming later in the year to this channel, and just overall things picking up. So
for sure,
we appreciate the views as always, the support. If you want to hit us up on Instagram, try and shoot us an email for any merch. We can try and get it ready and assembled for you.
Oh yeah,
you can go out there and tell everyone about these two awesome guys that just go watch football games. Sounds like a good idea to me. But again, like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to continue on with our journeys, and turn on those post notifications so you'll know when we post.
To all my South Carolinians, what did you think of this grade? Do you think it was fairly graded, underrated, overrated? People from outside of South Carolina, tell me overall thoughts of the stadium. Are you interested in going to a Gamecock game? Do you hate Williams-Brice Stadium? Tell us. Seriously, tell us how you feel. Comment whatever football stadiums you'd like to see next.
That is us for week 10 on to week 11.
Thank you so much for watching.
We will see you next week on game day and on the road.
This is Road Team Reviews. We're out.
Peace out.